Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to University Field on the campus of Fairfield University for today's NEC matchup between Sacred Heart University and Fairfield University. Before we introduce today's starting lineup, Fairfield University would like to recognize today's officials as part of National Field Hockey Coaches Association Umpire Appreciation Week. Please join us in a round of applause to show our appreciation and thanks for all our officials do for the sport of field hockey. And now here are the starting lineups. First for Sacred Heart. A sophomore forward, number 3, Bridget McLaughlin. A senior midfielder, number 4, Jaden Ray. A senior forward, number 6, Ennis Brinkley. A first-year midfielder, number 9, Sophia DePrima. A sophomore midfielder, number 10, Celia Benson. A sophomore defender, number 13, Haley Vogt. A sophomore midfielder, number 16, Jenna Baxter. A senior midfielder, number 20, Amelia Pellegrini. A junior midfielder, number 22, Blair Sparks. A senior defender, number 28, Emma Brayford. And a junior goalkeeper, number 0, Brianna Cooper. Sacred Heart's head coach is Sydney Vandermeer. He's assisted by Tess Chaka. And here's the starting lineup for Fairfield University. Senior forward, number 1, Alex Senior. A sophomore forward, number 10, Camille Perloff. A junior defender, number 12, Nora Hellman. A junior midfielder, number 14, Catherine Fitzgerald. A junior midfielder, number 16, Catalina Ness. A senior midfielder, number 17, Connie Huffman. A freshman forward, number 18, Kaylin Fogelson. A senior defender, number 19, Pilar Mangati. A senior defender, number 21, Alice Teferi. A junior forward, number 24, Cortland Schumacher. And a fifth-year goalkeeper, number 88, Peyton Ron. Fairfield's head coach is Laura Gebhardt. She's assisted by Kaylin Long. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise and honor America as we play the national anthem.
You're watching a presentation of the Stag Sports Network as we renew a rivalry between two crosstown squads. Fairfield University on the strength of 3 straight wins in NEC play to open up league play. They welcome in Sacred Heart University, who are 1-2 in the conference, however, coming off of a pair of gut-wrenching losses. First losing 1-0 to Wagner last Friday, then going down to Ryder and out-shooting them, nearly putting up 25 shot attempts against the Bronx, but losing 2-1 in that game. Sacred Heart is looking for a big bounce-back result. Meanwhile, for Fairfield, a goal-scoring bonanza up in New England, knocking off Merrimack 6-0 last Friday and beating Stonehill 5-0 on Sunday. This is the first of their 2 home games and a 2 home game stretch before they're on the road, yet back again for 3 straight, as it's Sacred Heart today, then New Haven on Sunday. JJ Duke here with you. Thanks for spending your Friday here with us. Let's take a look now at our players to watch for today's matchup as head coach Sidney Vandermeer is getting the final instructions to his team. But Emma Brayford, the senior back from Pennsylvania, has just been a consistent scorer and someone that will really lead the line from the back. Brayford already on 3 goals this season, which is top 10 in the league. Also has 1 defensive save. She had 3 goals and 3 assists last season. Meanwhile, for Fairfield University, that is leading the line for the Stags. Fairfield averaging 3 goals per contest. Connie Hoffman, the senior from Dusseldorf, Germany, coming off of a really solid weekend where she had a pair of goals against Stonehill and was very involved in the attack against Merrimack on Friday. This Fairfield offense have proven over the course of the season they can get goals from just about anywhere, but Hoffman's been super consistent over her time at Fairfield, currently amongst the conference leaders in shots on goal per game, and currently entering today's action with 13 career goals. Well, when these teams meet, usually expect some fireworks, especially for the fact that Sacred Heart University, they need a win today. And speaking with Fairfield's head coach Laura Gebhardt and the build up to this match, she expects that Sacred Heart will come out flying immediately from the gates. Fairfield knows that the way that they've been approaching every game and really trying to force the possession and the tempo on their opponents, Fairfield knows that they might have to weather a bit of a storm here to begin this one, as Sacred Heart in the white jerseys going from right to left on your screen, trying to get play started quickly, but Fairfield able to step in, and they will work from the back. The starters, if you're just joining us here for Fairfield, Peyton Ron maintains her spot in goal with a 169 goals against. Numerically in the field is Alex Senior for Fairfield. Camille Perloff wears 10, coming off of a good goal-scoring weekend up in New England this past weekend with a couple of goals on the season. Nora Hellemans in the back wears 12, Catherine Fitzgerald 14, Catalina Ness 16, Connie Huffman 17, Kaylin Fogelson now up to 3 goals and 2 assists on the year, wears 18, Pilar Mengani 19, and Cortland Schumacher wears 24 for Sacred Heart. Brianna Cooper, who has started just about every game for the Pioneers this season, is in goal. Best goals against in the league at 1.36. As the Pioneers will attack through Celia Benson, who wears 10. Ball into the circle, but it will go out, and Fairfield will get a hit coming out. Then in the field, Bridget McLaughlin wears 3. Ines Braithwaite wears 6. The senior from Oxford, England, now in 7 goals in her career. Sophia DePrima wears 9. 10 is Benson, as we mentioned. Haley Vogt wears 13. Jenna Baxter in the midfield, 16. Amelia Pellegrini, the senior from Pennsylvania, who has a pair of assists this year, wears 20. 22, Blair Sparks, one of the top shooters in the conferences. She's currently ranking 2nd in the league in over 3.5 shots per game and 2.25 shots on goal per game, wears 22. And Emma Brayford, as we mentioned already, wears 28. As Fairfield win possession in the circle with Hoffman, has players in the circle. That's knocked across at the back post. It goes in. Kaylin Fogelson at the right place puts it in, and Fairfield take the early lead. Well, there's that high line of pressure that Fairfield are looking for. Just a simple ball across from Huffman. Eventually finds the stick of Fogelson, and Fairfield get that early goal. And Fogelson, who's coming off of a weekend with a goal and assist against Stonehill on Sunday. It's now back-to-back games with goals for her. In fact, now back-to-back games at home with goals, as she scored in that 5-0 victory against Lehigh. That's a start that Fairfield, well, they always want to hunt for to get that early goal to set the tempo, but now Sacred Heart, who are already, as I mentioned, playing in a mode where they need to strike early and often, they have to reset things, though giving up a goal in really the 2nd minute of the contest, it's not the worst situation in the world. Don't change your tactics all that much. Fairfield now pinned inside their own end as Ness looking for an outlet, and she draws a whistle. Also, it is Umpire Appreciation Week across all of collegiate field hockey, so there was a presentation before the match for our 2 umpires today. As Fairfield will build out of the back. Hellemans draws the whistle, but the official asked for that ball to be coming back inside the 25. As we're seeing how Sacred Heart is setting up, they'll have actually Jenna Baxter listed as a midfielder, but she'll do a bit more of the pressing alongside Bridget McLaughlin, who wears 3. And then you'll rely on the likes of Benson and Braithwaite to pull the strings in the midfield as more of those attacking type options. So Alice Piferi on that left side. Another great start for her. Piferi last year one of the top assist getters in the conference with 10 of them, now up to 5 assists already. And those are all games played before the start of the month of October. Fairfield will build now through the middle. Nice reverse pass to find Huffman, and she goes into the circle. Connie in, draws a whistle, but it's actually coming out. Foul on Fairfield. Already a few moments in the circle for the Fairfield senior. Good scoring areas or good creating areas. Not officially it was kind of given an assist on that goal, but certainly it was her work in building up the play. The Stags will rely on that front-running trio of Fogelson, Senior, and Camille Perloff. Good tackle from Nora Hellemans, and Fairfield again can break quickly with Camille Perloff able to dance around a couple of defenders. Perloff turns it around, it's knocked down, and it's back out to Sacred Heart. This Fairfield team's second most shots per game in NEC. It's 16.8, but they're going up against the team with the most shots per game in Sacred Heart at 17.6. And the Pioneers have the co-best defensive record in the league with Fairfield, allowing just a goal and a little over a goal and a half, really. Fairfield, then when you bring it into league play, giving up the 2 against Wagner in what was really kind of a knockdown battle where Fairfield conceded early, then really have the upper hand, only to give up a goal inside the final couple of minutes in regulation, nearly actually lose that one in regulation before the Stags win it in overtime, getting one back over Wagner, team, of course, that they faced in the postseason last year in the NEC tournament. Mengadi out of the back. Senior from Madrid, now playing match number 67 for Fairfield. 35 career points. Hellemans ahead with Senior. It's a good touch. Ball ahead, taken around the keeper. And the Stags now double their lead. It's a great finish from Camille Perloff, but Fairfield just brilliant build-up through the lines. Yeah, Senior with just that beautiful threaded ball going past the final defender. And the Stags now fully deserving of their 2-goal advantage here. Not even 6 minutes gone. Camille Perloff, who has found her goal-scoring touch over the last couple of weeks, scored in Fairfield's home opening victory over Villanova 5-2 in that one. And then scored on Friday in that 6-goal victory against Merrimack. And again, this is just the depth that Fairfield have in that area. I mean, we haven't even said Riley Lelou's name yet, who has 3 goals, including a goal and assist this past Sunday, and scored against Merrimack. We're seeing Amanda Dressel get in on the goal-scoring fun as well. She had goals in the last couple of games. And of course, then you get goals off corners from the likes of Hellemans and Ness and Mengadi, of course. Arguably, you could say this is the most deep offensive lineup that any team has in the conference. Maybe the exception to that would be St. Francis. That's going to be Fairfield's last regular season match. That pass knocked down. It comes back to Catalina Ness, so we'll just reverse as now Sacred Heart, after the ideal start was to be in an advanced position up the field, but now they've had to put all the numbers inside their own 25 as Corlin Schumacher trying to advance into the circle, but slowed down. Foul on the Pioneers just outside the area as Autumn Bardish helping it across to Ness. Now to Senior, turns it around, and that one is knocked away. First save of the afternoon for Brianna Cooper. She really had to stick out the pad at that one, as that was destined to go just inside the far post. But again, there's that high line of pressure, and we've seen that all through the season for Fairfield. And speaking with Coach Gebhardt earlier this season, in the fact that what Fairfield want to do stylistically, they just want to press. They want to put teams under pressure to make mistakes. There's another ball into the circle. Could have been a shot maybe of a corner. Still's on though for Hoffman. Turns around, gets it off, and it'll be a penalty corner to come. And also, I think a big thing you could check off for Fairfield is a team over the last couple seasons has relied so heavily on goals from corners, 2 goals from the run of play. And that's, now that you add the element here of scoring off of set pieces, where Fairfield over the years have been so dominant. Stags right now just dictating all the tempo as Alice Peferi, who's the primary insert for the Stags, will pace this one off. Ness and Helleman stopping at the top of the circle, Senior close by. Brianna Cooper getting her defensive line squared away. Senior, saved by Cooper. Brianna got a good sight of that one, not a whole lot of bodies in front of her, and was able to kick it wide. That was a pretty simple corner routine for Fairfield, and with the Stags playing their 2 matches on the road last week, both on field turf, which does provide a little bit of a different look in the way that you have to play stylistically and just have to grind out each possession. But Coach Gebhardt was actually kind of joking and saying, brought me back to my high school roots a little bit and how she wanted to design corners, as speaking of, another one coming for Fairfield. And just something that you can throw different wrinkles to, intricate passing sequences, and how can you pull defenders out to open up shooting spaces. Well, Fairfield a chance here once again to do it. Looks like there will be some modifications from the last corner routine, as now Kylie Corcoran will be one of the stoppers at the top of the circle, along with Hellmans and Ness. And Camille Perloff will be the primary options. Alex Senior, the short. Keep an eye on Riley Lalou, who will drive in at this far post, or the near post now in your picture. It's a heavy set, though. That is a foul, as kind of lowering the shoulder was Sophia DePrima. Fairfield wasteful in their possession and knocked out of play as all the gloves come off, though I do happen to notice those are a bunch of CCM hockey gloves that Sacred Heart players use in their defensive penalty corner unit. The Sacred Heart Pioneer Red. Of course, hockey season, the women already underway. Men's season, I believe, starts next week. Ball into the circle, but will go the other way. Sacred Heart just wasteful, building out of the back. That was intended for Braithwaite, but not on the right page there with Jaden Ray. As Fairfield continually bring on new options off the bench. Amanda Dressel checking on. Kaylin Fogelson back into the game. Also saw Elise Wanchizin, first year from Pennsylvania, operating on this right side. Foul on Braithwaite. Fairfield with all 6 shots in the game, 4 of which on target. A couple of goals inside the first 6 minutes of this contest. The first one coming officially 1 minute 42 from Fogelson, then Camille Perloff with the second. That came to the 5:35 mark. Switch doesn't find its intended mark, and a chance now for the visitors to build. Kate McConaughey finding Benson. Whistle, though, on Fairfield. It's on Fogelson. Emma Rose Phillips, first year from Sewell, New Jersey. Or excuse me, that's a 2, my apologies. Bill Mazza. Looked like a 7 there for a second, but Mazza draws a whistle. The Westminster, Maryland native. Hasso on that right side. Started her collegiate career at Wagner and then transferred over to Sacred Heart prior to the start of last season. Fairly regular player for the Pioneers over the last season and a half. Fairfield with the ball into this channel, but a bit too strong for Dressel, and she'll let that go into touch. Lizzie Mendreski will restart. Senior from Hanover Township, Pennsylvania. She'll link up with Benson. Advancement there by Benson. Scored a couple of goals last season. Had the game winner. The first victory of the season for Sacred Heart. That was over Georgetown back on September the 5th. On the opposite side for Sacred Heart, goals have been hard to come by at times. They're really more scored in bunches. 3 in the victory over Georgetown, 4 in the win over New Haven, then knocked off Lehigh 3-1, but in the games where the Pioneers don't get results, it's often been 1 or none. In fact, they haven't scored multiple goals in a game that they've lost this season. The Sacred Heart team, which last year, a bit of a disappointing one where they finished 7th in the conference. This was a year removed after winning the NEC title down at Wagner. That was the 4 seed that year. Take away, though, from McConaughey, and she'll advance towards the circle with players in the area. Benson trying to help it on, keeps it on, but it'll be possession back over to Fairfield. And that season a couple of years ago, which was just the 2nd title in program history for Sacred Heart in 23, the other being in 2005. Pioneers started the year at 3-6. And after October 4th, it just really went downhill in league play, where Sacred Heart lost all 6 of their conference games. They actually won all 3 of their remaining non-conference games to go 6-12, but just didn't get consistency from goal scorers. Ness got clattered into by Hasso just outside the circle, but Fairfield now trying to advance down the left channel. Not a bad area, but Brayford will recover just in front of Kalen Fogelson. Back over to Fairfield, which is 1:45 left to go here in this opening quarter. Good read by Braithwaite, able to intercept, but immediately as she got it, gave it away. Pass finding Ness and able to get it wide beyond Hasso. Maybe Fairfield with one more roll of the dice here in this opening quarter. It's Kylie Corcoran. It's slowed up by Benson. It's not a bad area actually, but a foot on Fairfield. Connellina Ness will go back over to Sacred Heart. But Fairfield have been able to find the gaps inside the Pioneers defensive unit, linking up a fair few times with we'll call in soccer just through balls, or often enough balls with a little bit of loft to them. There probably is a hockey term for it, I just can't remember off the top of my head. But just the space that Fairfield have been able to find, and also just keeping players wide and pulling a few of the outside backs for Sacred Heart into positions that they really don't want to defend. As Corcoran gets it out wide. And simple 1- and 2-touch passing. It's something that has been stressed over the course of training this week for Fairfield. Just get it and give it. Get it off your stick as quickly as you can. This is going to do it here for the first quarter, as Jaden Ray will take it over by the pylon. An outstanding start for the Stags, getting 2 goals inside of 6 minutes. Kalen Fogelson with the goal inside of 2, and then Camille Perloff not too long after that. We'll step aside and be back in a moment as you're watching a presentation of the Stag Sports Network.
Illicit Brewing Company in Fairfield, Connecticut has everything you need for a night out. Dozens of house-brewed draft beers, guest taps, a full bar, live entertainment, dozens of TVs to catch the game, a speakeasy and game room, brew pub style food offerings, and more. This commercial isn't long enough to show you everything Illicit has to offer, so come see it for yourself. Illicit Brewing, 111 Black Rock Turnpike in Fairfield, illicitbrewing.com.
Why is the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Team proud to have Headlam as their official non-alcoholic beer sponsor? Because when you're bombing down a mountain at 100 miles per hour with only spandex and lip balm for protection, you definitely don't want to buzz. You want cold, crisp, great-tasting American beer without the booze. Because staying upright is kinda important, right? Headlam, brewed to be wild.
Well, the process for Fairfield field hockey under first-year head coach Laura Gebhardt has been build through possession, but pressure the opponents, and that's what Fairfield have done here over the first 15 minutes, getting a couple of goals, one from Kaylin Fogelson inside of 2 minutes, and Camille Perloff in the 6th minute, and you can really start to see what this coaching staff has been building over the past couple of months. Remember Coach Gebhardt coming in during the spring season, getting to know this squad, but what it helps is where she had so many different styles of play that Fairfield can build from Jackie Kane, and the amount of excellence that Fairfield have had over the course of the last decade specifically, where Fairfield have won this league's title in 2019 and 21 and 24, also winning a couple of MAC titles when the conference sponsored the sport. So winning is in Fairfield field hockey's DNA. It's now just, what kind of touch can she bring to the table, and the speed that Fairfield have been providing and just the width that they're showing has really been second to none, especially watching games at home specifically. And the willingness for a bunch of these players, and not to say it wasn't there in previous years, it's the defending higher up the field and the amount of chances that Fairfield have been able to build through the run of play because of the mistakes from opponents that they're forcing. That's where this team has really stood out this season. And specifically, when you look at goal scoring in the opening quarter, Fairfield are outscoring teams 11-5 in the first quarter alone. And really, they've been able to put a lot of games to bed early, as Cortland Schumacher wins back possession in this corner, swings it around goal. Cooper has to knock it away. Nest forward, shot, just goes wide. It was Camille Perloff, not all that far away. It was deflected wide of the mark. And we'll stay with Fairfield. Boy, Camille Perloff looks up for it today. Already with a goal in this one. Now up to 4 goals on the season. Player that scored 3 goals last year. Hoffman now sends it across. It was knocked down by the leg of Sophia DePrima, and it'll be another penalty corner for Fairfield, their 3rd of the match. I mean, that could just do a big thing for momentum when you strike so early in the game. Specifically the Merrimack match, who picked up their first victory in league play, their 2nd win in league play earlier tonight, knocking off New Haven by 2-1. But Fairfield put that match away against the Warriors inside the first 20 minutes. There was nothing for the opponents to really build on after that, and it wasn't quite the same against Stonehill. Stonehill, a team that's certainly been rising over the last couple of years. Now they have the full eligibility to get into the NCAA tournament, but they're a team that took a little while longer, but Fairfield really got it to them as this one swept towards the circle, kicked away by Cooper. That was off the stick of Pilar Mengani. And that's at some of the creativity that Fairfield have been showing off of their corners, especially playing on the turf the last week. Fortunate for the Stags here on this campus, in addition to this outstanding new hockey surface at University Field, they do have multiple turf fields to choose from if they want to train, either across at Rafferty Stadium or down the road at the Barlow Field. Fairfield not having a drag flick on their roster at the moment. This is where you do have to be a bit more creative in how you go about your corners, but Fairfield have shown a number of different routines, and what they've done nicely is they've varied them. There's a takeaway now. Bridget McLaughlin trying to get towards the circle. She gets tripped up. It looked like no whistle. The official not too far away. Must have been the player, unfortunately, going over their own feet. Good step once again, though, by Celia Benson, who's been right for Sacred Heart. Got a foul, and it'll be back over to Fairfield. Long ball intercepted by Brayford, who starting to play a little bit more of an advanced position just in front of the defensive tandem at the moment of Haley Vogt and Jaden Ray. But now Sacred Heart have to get back here as Vogelson gets fouled. She's got a big switch if she can get it there, and does so to Catherine Fitzgerald. Ball into the circle, turn, shot, knocked down by Brayford. Still on, though, for Perloff. Gets it back to the edge of the circle. Fitzgerald across, deflected, and Brayford able to come away with it. That's how quickly, again, Fairfield turning an opponent's turnover into offense. Sacred Heart, they just did not have the bodies behind the ball. Fortunately, the defenders and Jaden Ray, as well as Haley Vogt, were able to step in, make a play, but now Sacred Heart trying to quickly hit on the counter here. There's Jaden Ray approaching the ball, the senior from Shrub Oak, New York. Match number 64 for her with 9 career assists. Had 2 of them against Lehigh a couple of weeks ago in a 3-1 victory. It's a dangerous pass, and Huffman will pick that up. Senior inside the circle, knocked down, rebound, Fairfield lead by 3. It's Kaylin Fogelson once again, right place, right time to tap it home. Kind of an awkward one there as Alex Senior took the shot. It was Camille Perloff kind of in the right place just to, maybe she didn't know it, but just guide it towards a friendly stick. And Kaylin Fogelson now with a pair of goals already in this one, upping her total to 5. The 4-time All-State selection at Norwalk High. The local product doing good. That's a foul on Perloff. The referee saying that the sophomore extended the elbow. You can already start to see for Sacred Heart just some of the tired passes and kind of players looking around, looking for movement off the ball. But there was only one Fairfield defender inside their own defensive half. Everyone else was in an attacking position as Hoffman trying to slide it ahead. Perloff turns, fires, knocked down. No advantage being played. Now it is, and it's a corner. Alex Senior earns it. Wave after wave after wave of offense for Fairfield are out shooting Sacred Heart by 13-0 here. And the game has just gone beyond the 20th minute. Kaylin Fogelson, 2 goals. Camille Perloff, a goal and an assist. Bit unlucky for Brianna Cooper, it has to be said, who has already made 4 saves in this match. It's this relentless attack from Fairfield. Already the league's top scoring team at 3 goals per game. Well, they've already achieved that in 20 minutes. They're looking for more. Ferry have been in between. That ball from Mengati knocked away from the post. Wasn't the greatest insert, a little bit off, but Pilar able to make something of it. That'll be a foot on Fairfield. Sacred Heart can just get some bodies forward. Well, watching Sacred Heart's games last week, candidly can say they were unlucky not to get results in both of those games. They were absolutely brilliant against Ryder, and that's saying something in the context of the game was being played at Ryder's facility that have not only field turf, but it is a very slow field turf. The Sacred Heart just continued to create chance after chance and forcing Jade Regnar in goal. 15 saves in that one. Eventually, Sacred Heart got a goal off of a penalty stroke. And that came off of Haley Vogt, and it was a really well-taken stroke. And Sacred Heart played without a goalie for the better part of 6-7 minutes or so to try and get the equalizer. In the game against Wagner 2 days before that, not heavily in favor of shots, but they really dominated possession over the final 10-15 minutes or so. But it was an early goal from the visitors that was the difference. But that's the difference of this league. Takeaway and a chance now. In on alone is Raina Crandall with the shot, knocked down. A chance for the first year there at Crandall, playing in match number 5 of her career. One could almost say it's a gilt-edged chance there because Fairfield giving away possession in a really good scoring area. Bardish, a bit of a welcome back for her, playing at her old school, Merrimack, last Friday, and all she did was score a pair of goals. against her former outfit. Ironically enough, the game is actually played at a different facility. In past, they used Duane Stadium, but they use Martone Mihail Field, which is the soccer facility now for Merrimack Field hockey. But still, different field, same result. But I was going to before about for Sacred Heart, even though it's just 2 losses, in the grand context of the way that the NEC works is that you have the top running teams, St. Francis, Fairfield, Wagner, just going by tradition, Ryder with kind of that odd loss against Stonehill at home in overtime. But you can't really afford losses this early in the season, especially multiple losses, knowing that you're probably going to have the schedule open up for you a little bit, especially with the number of the teams that are coming up from the Division II levels, like Mercyhurst and New Haven. They're still building in their Division I process. They'll get there. It just takes time. New Haven, not all that many years ago, they were right on the doorstep of getting to the Division II tournament, but you can't afford too many bad results, because then you might just be playing out the string, hoping that you get some help from elsewhere. Which is why it was imperative for Sacred Heart to get out to a good start, and still obviously a ton of time left in this game, knowing get one here before the end of this half, still have plenty to play for. But Fairfield have just not given them that many chances to attack, as Kate McConaughey had it and then lost it back over to Fairfield. On Cheesin down the line for Amanda Dressel. Dressel coming off of her best scoring weekend of her collegiate career. Goals in back-to-back games now against Merrimack and Stonehill. Again, just another player that Fairfield can use as an attacking option. Benson trying to help it along. Now a chance for Crandall on this left flank. Good step though by Bardish. Does concede the foul. Oh no, it's a foul on Sacred Heart. Actually not a bad area from Bardish. Trying to link up with Fogelson. McConaughey able to keep the move going, but a whistle on her. Ball been pinned on this near sideline for the last 40 seconds or so. Fairfield will now switch the point of attack. Fairfield led by 2-0 after the first. Added one in the 20th minute from Fogelson, her second of the afternoon. Just the one shot attempt in this game from the visitors. Fairfield's 14. Belmaza goes back. McConaughey not able to take it. It'll go back over to Fairfield. Cortland Schumacher been outstanding, kind of just doing the dirty work for Fairfield this season. Did get an assist in that 5-0 victory over Lehigh. Someone that's not going to put up the big stats, but will lead by example. Does Schumacher now in her junior season. 47 career games now for her. Ariel changes the field, albeit briefly. It's Fairfield just passing their way in and out of trouble. And that was something that earlier this season spoke with Coach Gebhardt about, and she knew how very strong Fairfield was in their passing from their defensive group. Can really distribute, can pick apart the holes, and then when you have players like Kylie Corcoran as a bit of a yard sale there, player's stick goes flying. But when you have players that can then all of a sudden say, no, I can advance 10, 15 yards up the field on my own, that's where more dynamic play comes into it. A Schumacher into the circle, squares it back across. That was for Dressel, gets it on, and look out, that was heading places. Fortunately, the Sacred Heart defender on that far post ducked out of the way at the right time. It was Hannah Hasso. time. We'll step aside, then when we come back, we'll look at what's to come for both of these squads. Also, I'll take a brief look and see what's happening elsewhere. A couple of games I know are already final or close to it, and a few more to come here over the course of the afternoon. Raina Crandall once again, the one that had that chance earlier on in the second quarter, gifted to her from a Fairfield mistake, but Peyton Ron, who has not had a whole lot to do over the course of this first half, came up with the stop. Ron actually didn't see out the entirety of either game on the weekend. Paige Jackson making her collegiate debut in 30 minutes of action against Merrimack, and then saw the final quarter against Stonehill. Good step. Chance now, nearly a chance for the visitors to break. A good tackle from McConaughey. Now she can attack. Has an option to this near side. Ball into the circle. Played across and in. Raina Crandall was the one that got that touch and put it where the goalkeeper couldn't get there. And Sacred Heart is back in it. Holly D'Angelo with the brilliant assist, and yeah, just a little deflection. Tell you what, it might have actually, I mean, it's not going to change anything. It might have come off of a Fairfield defender that offset the keeper, but game very much back on here. As you go into the halftime team talk, if you're Sacred Heart, thinking 2 goals, that is gettable. 3 goals kind of changes the mood a little bit. Raina Crandall taped that ball out at halftime and sent it back up to Franklin, Mass, because that is her first career collegiate goal. Fairfield just a little over a minute to go here. Again, after hardly really seeing anything go on their way. Peyton Ron, not really much she could have done about that, to be fair. Would be more disappointed for the fact that the clean sheet has been ruined. But Perloff trying to advance into the circle. Schumacher now enters into the circle, but a heavy touch. Sacred Heart should really be in a position right now where they don't need to rush things. Do keep in mind, though, by the way, Fairfield will be shooting in the second half to our left. And that's the end where the sun is going to be brutal in about 20 minutes from now for a goalkeeper. Crandall, aerial towards the circle looking for Inez Braithwaite, but it will come back. Innovative, if nothing else. Fairfield should just be happy possessing here and take the 2-goal lead into the team talk. A team talk that they thought was going to be with them leading by 3, but the first career goal for Raina Crandall makes it a 2-goal game, as after 30 minutes of action here on the Stag Sports Network, it's Fairfield 3, Sacred Heart 1. We will step aside for halftime, be back in about 8 minutes for the start of the second half. So you're watching the Stag Sports Network.
In an unpredictable world where every moment matters, imagine the peace of mind that comes from knowing your loved ones, lifestyle, and business are all protected. At Meridian Risk Management, we offer tailored solutions, whether for personal, commercial, or benefits insurance. We are here to safeguard what you value most, so you can embrace every adventure ahead. Meridian Risk Management, because your legacy deserves protection.
Illicit Brewing Company in Fairfield, Connecticut has everything you need for a night out. Dozens of house brewed draft beers, guest taps, a full bar, live entertainment, dozens of TVs to catch the game, a speakeasy and game room, brew pub style food offerings, and more. This commercial isn't long enough to show you everything Illicit has to offer. So come see it for yourself. Illicit Brewing, 111 Black Rock Turnpike in Fairfield. IllicitBrewing.com.
Why is the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Team proud to have Headlam as their official non-alcoholic beer sponsor? Because when you're bombing down a mountain at 100 miles per hour with only spandex and lip balm for protection, you definitely don't want to buzz. You want cold, crisp, great-tasting American beer without the booze. Because staying upright is kinda important, right? Headlam, brewed to be wild.
In an unpredictable world where every moment matters, imagine the peace of mind that comes from knowing your loved ones, lifestyle, and business are all protected. At Meridian Risk Management, we offer tailored solutions, whether for personal, commercial, or benefits insurance. We are here to safeguard what you value most, so you can embrace every adventure ahead. Meridian Risk Management, because your legacy deserves protection.
Illicit Brewing Company in Fairfield, Connecticut has everything you need for a night out. Dozens of house-brewed draft beers, guest taps, a full bar, live entertainment, dozens of TVs to catch the game, a speakeasy and game room, brew pub style food offerings, and more. This commercial isn't long enough to show you everything Illicit has to offer. So come see it for yourself. Illicit Brewing, 111 Black Rock Turnpike in Fairfield. IllicitBrewing.com.
Why is the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Team proud to have Headlam as their official non-alcoholic beer sponsor? Because when you're bombing down a mountain at 100 miles per hour with only spandex and lip balm for protection, you definitely don't want to buzz. You want cold, crisp, great-tasting American beer without the booze. Because staying upright is kinda important, right? Headlam, brewed to be wild.
In an unpredictable world where every moment matters, imagine the peace of mind that comes from knowing your loved ones, lifestyle, and business are all protected. At Meridian Risk Management, we offer tailored solutions, whether for personal, commercial, or benefits insurance. We are here to safeguard what you value most, so you can embrace every adventure ahead. Meridian Risk Management, because your legacy deserves protection.
Illicit Brewing Company in Fairfield, Connecticut has everything you need for a night out. Dozens of house-brewed draft beers, guest taps, a full bar, live entertainment, dozens of TVs to catch the game, a speakeasy and game room, brew pub style food offerings, and more. This commercial isn't long enough to show you everything Illicit has to offer. So come see it for yourself. Illicit Brewing, 111 Black Rock Turnpike in Fairfield. IllicitBrewing.com.
Why is the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Team proud to have Headlam as their official non-alcoholic beer sponsor? Because when you're bombing down a mountain at 100 miles per hour with only spandex and lip balm for protection, you definitely don't want to buzz. You want cold, crisp, great-tasting American beer without the booze. Because staying upright is kinda important, right? Headlam, brewed to be wild.
In an unpredictable world where every moment matters, imagine the peace of mind that comes from knowing your loved ones, lifestyle, and business are all protected. At Meridian Risk Management, we offer tailored solutions, whether for personal, commercial, or benefits insurance. We are here to safeguard what you value most, so you can embrace every adventure ahead. Meridian Risk Management, because your legacy deserves protection.
Halftime here on the Stag Sports Network in this crosstown rivalry game with Fairfield striking early and often over the course of the first 20 minutes. Kaylin Fogelson with a pair of goals. Camille Perloff tallying one as well, but Raina Crandall getting her first career tally, pulling one back for the Pioneers. making it what could be a really fascinating second half for both of these squads. JJ Duke here with you. Thanks again for spending your Friday with us here on the Stag Sports Network. Take a look at the upcoming schedules for both of these teams. First for Sacred Heart, it's going to be battle for Johnson Field bragging rights as Sacred Heart, who play their home games up at Yale University, are going to be taking on Yale on Sunday. Then a home game for the Pioneers against Merrimack before Providence, traveling out on the 12th, and then they'll make the long drive. And the final one, sadly, is St. Francis, who will be departing Division I athletics after the conclusion of this year. There'll be one more trip out to Western PA for Sacred Heart. Meanwhile, for Fairfield, coming up after this, they'll have a second league game coming up on Sunday. It's going to be New Haven, who are in their first season in Division I athletics, before a non-conference, a rare one, non-conference double weekend for Fairfield. They had the original bye in terms of who played who, so they're going to play 2 games out of conference, both on the road. Down on Long Island on Friday against Hofstra, and then up in Burlington against the Catamounts on the 12th. And then Fairfield will make the long drive for the first time to take on Mercyhurst out in Erie. That would have been a really interesting halftime team talk, mostly for the fact that Fairfield, who had been looking so good for 27 minutes of that first half, then a couple of mistakes, and then all of a sudden, Raina Crandall deflecting a pass from Holly DeLangelo into the back of the cage, all of a sudden makes us a bit of a game here for the second half. The Stags, who were in cruise control, but kind of it's a reset, go again type thing for head coach Laura Gebhardt and her squad. Meanwhile, for Sacred Heart, I'm going to be really interested to see the urgency that they're going to come out with here in this third quarter. Yeah, they're chasing a couple of goals, but as I said earlier, if you're going down 3-0 at halftime, it's a lot different than just chasing 2 goals. Mentality is a lot different, saying, oh, all of a sudden get one right back and hey, we're just about in this game here. But Fairfield now knows that they're very much in for this game because the Pioneers, and if they don't come out with desperation, then that'll be the most surprising. We're ready to go back here. Fairfield in the black jerseys from right to left in the screen. The Pios in their white jersey with the red numbers from left to right. Sprinklers rewatering the surface. Again, with this brand new field here at University Field. Fairfield getting the full compliments at where you get the highest level. Immediately into attack here is Catalina Ness. Had that last knocked off of her, and it will be back over to Sacred Heart. From elsewhere, all other games are done in NEC field hockey. The biggest surprise in terms of maybe not so much the result, but how convincing it was. St. Francis knocking off Wagner 3-0 out in Loretto. 2 goals from Sophia Marciano and then Grace Reed right at the end of the game. But 2 of those 3 goals came inside the final 3 minutes. However, St. Francis were pretty comfortable in attack from start to finish. Merrimack knocking off New Haven 2-1. It was even 17 minutes in, and then Delaney Weiler getting a goal inside of 40 seconds to go in the game, getting Merrimack the win. Is a chance here for Sacred Heart on the break. A little bit of a miscue as the shot. Oh, what a save by Peyton Ron! As Bridget McLaughlin tried to go far post, and Ron nearly into the full splits to kick it around the mark. Well, it comes as a giveaway from Fairfield, and again, Sacred Heart showing a bit of ruthlessness in terms of going straight to goal. That's a great stop from Ron, who, as I was commenting earlier in the first half, didn't have really all that much to do. And then all of a sudden sees one fly past her. If she doesn't come up with that save, it's 3-2 and game very much back on. For the Fairfield grad student goalie, who's already made over 200 career saves and a career save percentage close to 75%. I wouldn't have been happy about the first one flying past her, so when she's calling her own name in terms of a clear-cut chance on goal, not going to be denied there. The other results, Ryder 5-1 on the road at Mercyhurst. Valeria Perales with a couple of goals, Semra Side, Anna Finn, and Amanda Walker each with 1. Delaney Lentz got a consolation goal for Mercyhurst inside 2 minutes, and then Stonehill with a 6-1 victory over LIU. 2 goals for Michaela Striculis, goal and assist for Isa Huben, and for the Delaney Wojnarowicz. Stonehill bouncing back. They're currently at 2-2. Merrimack at 2-2. LIU at 1-2. Sacred Heart trying to join the party, also at 1-2. Ryder now up to 3-1. Wagner with the loss drops to 3-2, and they're a little bit of a precarious spot right now with that loss, because they'll have lost both to St. Francis and Fairfield. Still have, I believe, the Ryder game to come. They'll be back over to Fairfield right in front of us here. A stick lift. Fogelson sees it go beyond her, and it will stay with Fairfield. And if you're just joining us here, Fairfield nearly getting pegged for a second goal, almost a minute and a half into this third quarter. Breakaway chance for Bridget McLaughlin, but a brilliant almost into the split save from Peyton Ron, keeping it at 3-1. Ryder-Wagner match is the last game of the season for both of those teams on Halloween. That could be a huge game in terms of maybe the final postseason spot. Dangerous moment out of the back for Jaden Ray, but she came away with it really well. Had two Fairfield defenders, well, attackers becoming defenders on her. Fairfield just able to relieve a bit of pressure. Pilar Mangati nearly fanned on a crossfield pass, able to recover. Almost as if to say, I meant it. Good tackle by Emma Brayford, and now Braithwaite trying to find a pass into this channel. It should be on here, and it is for Jenna Baxter. Trying to reverse it back to McLaughlin, just a bit too strong for her. And Nor Hallemans in coming out of the circle, able to draw a whistle. Great little ball from Ines Braithwaite. Trying to split two defenders. Good hustle and hurrying from Perloff, and she won it back in a good area. Ryder Lelou onto the field and immediately goes that way. Lelou just a bit too strong for her to handle, and Ray recovers. Well, that's going to be now interesting to watch from a Sacred Heart perspective. With the amount of bodies that they're going to commit going forward for the rest of this match, will there be bigger gaps to open up for Fairfield? Perloff able to bounce past one defender, tackled off by Ray. And again, Sacred Heart will break, but we saw how Fairfield were able to exploit those gaps over the first half, especially really the first 20 minutes of the game. And with maybe one or two more bodies willing to attack further up the field for Sacred Heart, will things open up? We've seen actually at times where Emma Brayford will advance just a little bit higher up the field, almost going to a two-back system. The whistle will give possession back to Fairfield as both teams starting to bring changes. Fairfield trying to attack down the right. Kylie Corcoran out wide to Schumacher. Looking for a player to run into a channel. There was a whistle, and it will stay with Fairfield as Schumacher inside the 25. No, never mind, just outside of it. This will be a foul on Fairfield, though. I think the referee's saying that Hoffman kind of used the shoulder just to knock a defender out of position. Ooh, look out, that's dangerous from Brayford, and she knew it immediately, so Fairfield will get it in a relatively good position. Kylie Corcoran from just inside the 25 will restart play. That's not the product that Fairfield was hoping for. At least when Sheehan, who came back onto the field after seeing a little bit of time in the first half, tried to stretch to keep it on. The Sacred Heart immediately conceding it right back. Corcoran gets tangled up, and she'll just attack here. She goes into the circle trying to earn a corner. Corcoran turns it around, save, but before that a whistle. Nonetheless, a good effort though from Brianna Cooper, and the player that is top in the conference in goals against at 136 and third best save percentage at 72%. I mentioned it earlier, she is looking right into the sun, and it's going to be that way for pretty much the remainder of this match. As you can see the shadows coming across, not really a factor when Fairfield played their first 2 home games a month ago, but they've been on the road yet back again for the last couple of weeks, and well, now all of a sudden with the fall conditions fully upon us and the sun setting earlier, the conditions do play a factor here. Good interception by Senior and has players in advanced positions, but try to roll it instead to Catherine Fitzgerald. It's well recovered by Bridget McLaughlin as well as Jenna Baxter. No, excuse me, Hannah Hasso. Actually, maybe would have liked to see Senior just continue to carry. He has the legs to just run past defenders. Brayford forward. Belmaza. Foul on Maza. Well, tell you what. Amanda Dressel just immediately sprinted the other way. There might have actually been that long stretch pass on for Fairfield, but electing the value possession. Don't mind that though. If it's on, go for it. But again, Fairfield already have shown a lot of success in just playing through each of the 3 lines. Defense to midfield to forward. Corcoran now to Ness. Beautiful ball ahead. Fairfield with numbers, and it'll be a corner. Again, just really well strung together from the Stags, building on this left side of the field. But now an opportunity here to get their advantage back up by 3 with a corner. This will be their 5th of the contest. And we've seen a number of different varieties come. It's all been inserted though from Alice Piferi. It's Autumn Bardush and Kylie Corcoran the options at the top of the circle, with Cortland Schumacher the short. Lalou and Fogelson will drive to the net. Goes to Bardish, who will shoot. Goes wide. Okay, set play there. That was intended for the insert, coming back, diving at this near post. I think actually the shot might have just been a little bit, well, not behind, but the insert and Piferi just got to the post a little bit too quickly. Either way, not a bad look. Haven't seen that yet from Fairfield in this match. Is Riley able to take it back? Ness, good run from her, trying to flip it on to a teammate in Corcoran, instead gets it back. Fairfield asking for a corner, instead comes to the end line. And it is a corner. That ball deflects off the foot of Jaden Ray. After absorbing that start from the visitors, Fairfield now getting back into the rhythm of this match. There's over 4 minutes left to go now in this 3rd quarter. Can they find that end result? Still have a number of their usual attack penalty corner options currently off the field. And this is where maybe you try and keep things a little bit simple here. If nothing else, force a save from Cooper. Swept towards Cage, knockdown, rebound, save. Lalou gets a second chance at it. Advantage being played, and the referee will bring it back. It's a corner as Riley Lalou got a shot off. It was saved. Not quite sure whose foot it hit, but Fairfield will get another crack at it. 3rd in succession now. Piferi Reverse now, but the pass towards Ness didn't get there, and this will come out as it hit the foot of Catalina. Nora Hellman just didn't get the right connection that she wanted on that pass. Of that sequence, Fairfield did get at least one shot on Brianna Cooper. And as I said, if nothing else, you force a save and ask a question out of the goalie. And credit to the junior Cooper, able to stand up and make the stop. And she was a longtime understudy to Samantha Maresca, outstanding goalie for many years for Sacred Heart. But Maresca, after graduating last season, in fact, the Sacred Heart team had a half dozen players graduate. And just about half of the starting lineup departing as well. Losing the backbone is always the big thing. That's Fairfield, you know. Peyton Ron at a point will be graduating, listed as a grad student this year. Fairfield will have to get, you know, contributions from their understudy goalkeepers. And it's just part of collegiate athletics. You do move to new ventures at some point. If it's not to another school, graduation comes. No doubt the way that Sacred Heart have been building over the last few years, getting back into the postseason more regularly. Been kind of on and off for them over the past few seasons after COVID. Previous 4 seasons, they've only gone to the tournament once, but that one time they won the whole thing. So you take it when you get it, but they do have a lot of youth on their roster, this being Sacred Heart specifically, with 7 first-year players and 6 sophomores. They do have 8 seniors, but a lot of their starting players, non-seniors. That to be said as well, this Fairfield team also a fairly young lineup, though experience, as a lot of young players did get a lot of action last year. Foul just outside the circle. As Celia Benson trying to get it wide, but Fairfield eventually come away with it. As Camille Perloff will just try and attack everyone on her own, does advance up the field, and unfortunately for Erin Lynch, lost her stick for Sacred Heart, but Fairfield can't make anything of it. And here comes Raina Crandall again. She's got the only goal for Sacred Heart in this match. Spins it into the circle, but it will be possession back over to Fairfield. Stay with Fairfield down the right. It's Cortland Schumacher. Well, she wanted to take it from a bit further up the field, but the official asked for it to be brought back basically to midfield. The Ferry. Oh, good ball to find Catalina Ness, who's off to the races. About a half minute left to go. Ness and line still going on, but defended really well. Belle Maza coming all the way back to win it inside her own circle. 20 seconds left to go. Well, this is coming over to Sacred Heart. I thought that was off the arm of Holly D'Angelo in front of us, but in fact it's going to be back to the Pioneers, and that's going to do it here for this third quarter. So we exit the period as we started. Fairfield still out in front as the Stags 15 minutes away from improving to 4-0 in the league, but Sacred Heart, they had their chances. They'll try to create a few more here to pick up their second result of the season. Back in a moment on the Stag Sports Network.
Illicit Brewing Company in Fairfield, Connecticut has everything you need for a night out. Dozens of house brewed draft beers, guest taps, a full bar, live entertainment, dozens of TVs to catch the game, a speakeasy and game room, brew pub style food offerings, and more. This commercial isn't long enough to show you everything Illicit has to offer. So come see it for yourself. Illicit Brewing, 111 Black Rock Turnpike in Fairfield. IllicitBrewing.com.
Why is the U.S. ski and snowboard team proud to have Headlam as their official non-alcoholic beer sponsor? Because when you're bombing down a mountain at 100 miles per hour with only spandex and lip balm for protection, you definitely don't want to buzz. You want cold, crisp, great-tasting American beer without the booze. Because staying upright is kinda important, right? Headlam, brewed to be wild.
Curious to see what Sidney Van der Meer told his team prior to the start of this fourth quarter. Pioneers have certainly been chasing this game. In fact, with that goal that they got right at the end of the first half, gave them a little bit of a jolt. And if it wasn't for Peyton Ron, Fairfield's graduate student goalie, denying Bridget McLaughlin of a chance very early on in the third, it could be a much different picture, but it's Fairfield who lead here with 1 period to go. It was in observing that huddle from Sacred Heart as they're down off to our right, it was kind of a soft-spoken, kind of getting the points across, but there's already an understanding from the visitors that need to start pressing the issue. We've seen them in previous games, especially in league play, where they're not afraid of pulling the goalie early and going for the extra player on the field. That's where Fairfield are going to have to be very diligent over the course of these 14, 20 left to go. Any mistake and all of a sudden down a player in terms of just numbers field-wise. You have to be cautious, go tape to tape and we'll stick to stick. Ice hockey term, sorry about that. Just try and play within yourself and ultimately grind out a result. He's in this in a results-based business, just looking for positive one, get on to Sunday. And Gotti into the circle, takes a big deflection. That was off the stick of Riley Lalou. It does stay on here. Good work by Catherine Fitzgerald to help it on to Catalina Ness. Intercepted well, though, by Bel Mazza. Does have to put it into safety as everyone below us goes scurrying. Standing outside the new dugouts or the bench areas that were created here at University Field. It's so funny when you have new things but old habits still remain. Everyone's standing on the edge of the area. Benches are a little bit deeper and slightly elevated into the circle, but it's coming out. Possession back to the Pioneers. What I mean by that is Fairfield, they could stand a little bit further away from the field and not get knocked around by errant passes, but yet here we are. Change things that you've done forever as Ness draws the whistle. Fairfield currently out shooting Sacred Heart 18-3 in this match, but it's only 3-1 here in the third period. Everyone mimicking down below that they should have caught that one. Deflected into the bench. There would be a low-hanging fruit sort of a joke against the Boston Red Sox, but we're not going to go there. Well, I didn't actually mind that run from Schumacher trying to stretch the left side for Sacred Heart, but Fairfield only just getting it there now. Jenna Baxter a little bit slow to recover over into that channel before the restart was taken. Great strength by Perferi, gets it towards Alex Senior with players in the circle. Senior goes on, can she get a shot off? She does, saved by Cooper. Seemed a little slow to develop there, but Brianna Cooper able to kick that wide to the mark. Great persistence though from the Fairfield senior striker. Eventually, the pass goes beyond the mark. and Sacred Heart can take a respite. And we're just going to keep an eye on Sacred Heart bench to see when they want to pull Brianna Cooper. Even though chasing by a pair of goals, you're never going to be faulted for being aggressive. Being aggressive on the tackle with Celia Benson. Well responded though by Alice Peferi, and a better outlet to find Kaylin Fogelson. And Fogelson wins it back off Jaden Ray. Fairfield can attack. Not a bad area actually. Don't mind that passes. But originally it was going to go towards the likes of Senior down this left channel, but instead it will remain with Sacred Heart. It's going to be a foul as Huffman gets upended. There's about 5 minutes gone here into this fourth quarter. No changes to the score of what we had entering the second half. Fairfield led 3-0 inside of 20 minutes. 2 goals from Kaylin Fogelson, 1 from Camille Perloff, but Raina Crandall made it a 3-1 game right before the end of the first half. It's Catherine Fitzgerald able to earn a restart for her team at the 25. Hellemans trying to switch, actually takes a good bounce towards Hoffman, reverses out wide. Schumacher into the circle she goes, squares it across. Cooper knocks it out, still being fought for. Senior Fitzgerald turns it over, save. The whistle anyways afterwards, but it's a really nice stop from Brianna Cooper. Save number 8 for the junior. Really good shot from Fitzgerald. That one may have ultimately be going wide of the mark, but still again asking a question. Good little 1-2. Fitzgerald continues on with Fogelson, who's into the circle. 3 to aim for. Oh, it's actually last off Fairfield. I'll tell you what, little 1 and 2 touch passes from Fairfield. And that's something that Coach Gebhardt was really stressing to me earlier before this game, saying that that's how we're going to have success today. By breaking Sacred Heart down, is just get it and give. Get it off your stick. Exploit spaces on the field. That's what Fairfield at times have done ever so well today. Now Huffman in an advanced area. Senior with her. Bacani straight for goal. Squares it across. Defended well by Ray. But I'll tell you what, though. Could that pass be pulled back? And yeah, you could see Senior and Huffman having words there. As Alex had the tap in. Still across. Referee fine with the defending. Will be last off Fairfield. As Fairfield down below us, getting ready to check in, would be half of the field team. Also, for a change in goalkeeper, you have to have the ball out of play. It's just off to my right. You have, with all those changes, when one comes off, they all come off, and they're all coming off now. Beyond the halfway mark here of this fourth quarter, and again, still not really much movement in terms of changing and getting the extra field player on. Oh, it's a bit of a slip on the opposite side from Sacred Heart midfielder. Fairfield with Hellemans keeps possession. I mean, at this point, when you think about it, it's no real difference losing by 1 versus losing by 3. Don't want to wait too much longer to try and get that extra field player on. At least give yourself a chance. Lou into the circle with a couple of players there. Try to reverse it. Not a bad idea, actually. Just no one was right there. Corcoran errant with that pass. Sophia DePrimo has been waiting over by the scoring area for the better part of 5 minutes. Finally gets to come onto the field for a substitution. Taking off Belmazza. Fairfield again immediately into the attack, trying to get the fourth to put this game on ice. When she's able to keep it on. Couldn't link up with Hoffman down the right. Under 6 minutes left. Aaron Lynch, first year from Dover, New Hampshire. Inserting, but Fairfield again immediately swarmed the ball. They didn't win it there. Again, the Stags not allowing Sacred Heart just to get out of their own defensive half of the field. But a turnover and a chance now for the visitors to break. Benson able to get it down the line, but just too strong for Blair Sparks, that we highlighted earlier in the show with her really high shooting totals of 32 shots attempted on the season in 9 matches. Second most in the conference. Corcoran, dangerous pocket right there. Has to go back to Bardish. Nice step by McLaughlin, but she commits the foul. See that whole right side of the field covered by shadows right now. I peer off to my left, and the goalkeeper in Cooper is having a really tough time fighting the sun at the moment as Lelou's chasing this one over by the pylon. She won it. We'll be back over to the Pioneers. If there's ever a time to get the goalie out, this would be the one to do so. Good turn by Sparks, trying to help it down the line, just not enough. To Crandall. Sparks still chasing after it, stays with Sacred Heart. Now it's got to be just direct here. Nothing else, get into the circle, see if you can get a corner out of it, but Fairfield not even allowing a pass. They can break, it's just about even numbers here. Good decision by Lelou, checking her run back in, not just going towards the corner. Jaden Ray with the interception, but there's Kylie Corcoran to step. Again, the Pioneers trying to play through the lines. It's a dangerous pass, but it gets there. Amelia Pellegrini now can break. Down this channel has McLaughlin. It has to go forward here from the visitors. Good tackle, though, by Bardish. Oh, no, they're going to say it's a foul on McLaughlin. Bad break for Sacred Heart. A really good defending there from Autumn. Great work by Fogelson to win it just for a moment. Then a whistle on her and Celia Benson attacking. All out. 2:20 left to go. No goals in the second half. Fairfield have actually only attempted the 4 shots in the half as opposed to the 15 that they had in the first half. Some 2 minutes to go now. Fairfield really not in any rush, and Sacred Heart kind of just staying in a low block. It's a great aerial by Hellemans across the field, but Dressel just couldn't link up with Schumacher. She was likely in. Great turn by Benson. Ooh, has an option with Crandall. Just couldn't get the pass off. Slowed down by Peferi. Benson still into the circle. It's a corner. A minute 36 left to go here, and a chance now for Sacred Heart to try and pull one back and get one even closer. I mean, really, at this point here, with so little time, you might as well just send the cavalry and everyone up. This will be Amelia Pellegrini, the number 20, to insert. And yeah, Sacred Heart are only going to have one defender back. Every other field player inside the 25. It's Pellegrini to insert. This is where games could get really dicey here, especially if Fairfield were their 2-goal advantage. You can just start to pile on corners right now. Pellegrini inserts. Oh, not a great stop, though. Sparks gets it out wide, swept towards the circle, knocked down, rebound, save, second chance, but wide. That was the stick of Jenna Baxter, the number 16, originally stopped by Peyton Ron, and then the second effort from Baxter goes wide of the mark. Fairfield will happily take that and just play it down the line. Now we enter the 60th minute. Just not the cleanest of stops there off the insert of the corner, and that probably threw the whole sequence off for Sacred Heart. Now with under 40 seconds left to go, it'll basically just be a consolation. Sacred Heart can get one more attack. Credit the Fairfield defense, not allowing the Pioneers really anything. They only actually had just the 2 shots in the second half, period, until that corner. And in a results-based business, it's not really questioned how you got the job done. It's as long as you got the job done. And Fairfield getting the 3 goals inside the first 20 minutes. Ultimately, maybe a little bit disappointed by conceding one right before halftime, but as the horn's going to sound, Fairfield will take it against their crosstown rivals by 3 goals to 1. As Fairfield now improved to 4-0 in conference play, 6-4 overall this season. And Sacred Heart, this being their 27th meeting against Fairfield, they've only won 5 of them. Fairfield continue to run. They stay with pace right now of St. Francis. They're the only 2 teams at 4-0 in the league. And with the result with Wagner dropping one, a little bit of daylight now between Fairfield and the rest of the pack. Fairfield will be back in action at home on Sunday. They'll welcome in the new side, New Haven. That'll be a start at 12 p.m. You can watch it right here on Stag Sports Network on Fairfield Athletics YouTube page. I'll be back for the Rider match on the 19th. As Fairfield will have 4 straight to end the season. Meanwhile, Sacred Heart will take on Yale on Sunday at 1. You can watch that on ESPN+. That's going to do it for us. For our entire Stag Sports Network crew, I'm JJ Duke saying so long, enjoy the rest of your Friday, and we'll see you on Sunday. But Fairfield knock off Sacred Heart by 3 goals to 1.